We're going to have a look at notes and comments. To get a note, all you do is right click on a particular cell. So I'm going to put one on this cell here. So you right click, come down to new note, and you'll see that there is a comment there, but remember the comments are now notes. So we click new note and you get a little red triangle in the corner of the cell and like a post-it note pop up. And this is where you can make some notes either back to yourself as reminders for things, or notes about particular things that's going on in the cell. You might want to make a note about a particular member of staff, for example, or a product, or just a reminder of what to do in this cell. So in this one I'm going to type please enter caller's first name, and there we have a note. If you now click into the spreadsheet itself, the note hides itself. You've still got this red triangle, and if you hover anywhere in that cell, your little post-it note pops up. If you want to edit this or delete it, you right click in the cell and come down to either edit note or delete note. So if I click edit note, it takes me back into edit mode in here, and I can add some more if I wanted to, and when I click away it disappears. If you want this note to be showing all the time, you can just right click on the cell again and come down to this one that says show hide note, and when you click that, the note stays visible all the time. If you want it hidden, again you right click and come down to show hide note and it hides again. If you want to delete that particular note, right click and come down to delete note and it disappears. So it's quite a simple one, this one. It's just right click and then go to new note and then type your note or edit or delete it. So here I just want to take notes just that step further. We've already done the right click onto a cell and add a new note, and then we could put a note here like we did before, please add caller's name, and then we know that when you click away it disappears, and if you right click and come down to show hide note, it shows it all the time. But the problem with this is that it does cover other data. So if you just hover over the edge of the line just here and drag that away to a nice clear space, then you get an arrow pointing back to that triangle. If you want to resize this, you can resize this using the size handles on the side. That's the little square boxes. And if we just put one more here just to show you what happens if you've got a couple. So new note, right click on the cell and come down to show hide note, and again hover over the edge of the line, and then you can bring that note into a nice clear space, and you can resize it if you want to. And you've got arrows pointing back now to the cells. Now let's say you have a system at work with these notes that, let's say a red note is something that's got to be actioned, a blue note is just for information, and whatever color system you have. Okay, so what you do if you want to color them, if you right click on the edge of the line and come down to format comment, you should get a format comment dialog box come up where you've got font adjustments and colors and lines, which is the one that we want. So if we go to colors and lines, we could turn this particular one into a red one. Let's say that's for action, and we might want to change our text color so that it really stands out. So let's go over to font. Let's make the font just slightly bigger, size 10, and bold. And then just here where it's got color, drop this box down and I'm going to choose white. Click OK, and there's your red note with white font. And so whenever you see a red one, it could be that you've got to action it. So we'll just do that once more on the other one if we just right click and come down to format comment. Let's go over to colors and lines, and I'm going to change the color of this one to, let's say, a light blue, and we'll have the font size 10, maybe bold, and click OK. And there we have now got another note of a different color. So you could have color codes at work. If you want to hide these again, all you do, as we said earlier, is right click on the cell and then come down to show hide note, and you've got to do that for each one. Show hide note, and now when you hover over, the color remains the same and the size remains the same, but what changes is that it just goes back to being right next to that red triangle. So let's have a look at the comments. So I'm going to put a comment into this cell here, come down to, so right click, come down to new comment, and this enables you to start a conversation, and it's a threaded conversation. This means if somebody else now opens your spreadsheet, maybe the night shift, they can actually make a response to your comment here, and you can see the threaded discussion between the 2 or 3 of you that's working on the same spreadsheet. It's exactly the same as the notes. If you click away, it disappears. When you hover back, it pops back up again, and you can go and make a reply or more comments. You can delete certain comments or edit them by clicking the edit here, so we can edit that and save it. If we want to take the comments completely out, you right click and come down to delete comment. There's your notes and comments. So a nice quick one. So go and have a look on your spreadsheet. In this lesson we're going to have a look at repositioning worksheets or moving them, and also copying worksheets. The first way that we're going to have a look at is what I call the slightly longer way, but it's nice to know all the different ways that you've got. This assignment sheet I've got here, if I would like to move that worksheet from where it is over to the other side of this one called comments, in other words just before the one called multi-sheets, what you do is right click on the name of the worksheet, and then you get this menu pop up, and then click move or copy, and you get this dialog box. Then what you do, you look for the name of the sheet that you would like it to come before. So I want this one to move across to just before multi-sheets. So let's go and find multi-sheets down here. There it is there. Click OK, and that's just moved it from in front of comments to the other side of comments. Now, so that's one way of doing it, but the way that I think is a lot quicker is to hover your mouse pointer over the name of the worksheet, hold your left mouse button down, and you get that little sheet appear on the end of your pointer, and the thing that you need to look at is that little black triangle that's pointing down. That's the one that we need to look at as we move it. So if I just move my mouse to the left, in a moment, there it goes, that little triangle pops across in between dates and times and comments. So I can just move that little triangle across to any position I like, and then when I let go of the mouse, it moves the whole worksheet to that position. So I think that's a lot quicker when you're moving it to a location that's in view. But if you've got lots and lots of worksheets and you want to move it right up to the other end, then it's easier to right click and pick its position. The next one is to make a copy of the worksheet. So let's say I want to make a copy of this assignment and I would like it to go next to it, so in other words in front of comments. This takes 5 clicks to do this. First of all, right click on the worksheet name, that's 1 click. Come up to move or copy, that's 2 clicks. Then you need to select where you want that to go. So we want that to appear in front of comments, so I click that one, so that's 3 clicks. Then you click create a copy, that's your 4th click, and then click OK, that's your 5th click, and you get a copy of that worksheet. And again, there's a much easier way to do that. So if I want to make another copy of this assignment worksheet here, all you do is point at the name of the worksheet, hold your left mouse button down, and you get that sheet again appear on the end of your pointer, and now hold your control key down and you get a little plus in the middle of that sheet. Again, we need to look at that triangle that's pointing down, that little black triangle. Move your mouse over and that's where it's going to go. Keep your control key held down at this point and just let go of your mouse, and there's a copy. So that's much quicker than 5 clicks. Now the same can actually happen between workbooks. So if I open up a new workbook, so Control N is your shortcut for a new workbook. So there's a new workbook. I'm just going to position these on the screen next to each other. So we'll put one there and one there. So let's say I want to move that assignment one across. So let's just get it into view. Let's say I want to move this assignment 2 across to the other workbook. All you do is hold your left mouse button and drag across and drop it into the other workbook. So it's now gone from the original workbook and it's on the new workbook. But if I wanted to make a copy so that I've got one left on the original one and a new one over on the new workbook, we do as we did before. Hold your left mouse button over the name of the worksheet, hold your control key down and drag across to the other workbook. Let go of your mouse, keeping control held down, and you'll see we've now got assignment 3 over on the new workbook and we've got a copy left over on the original workbook. So I think that using the mouse and the control key is much easier than all those clicks. While we're on the topic of worksheet tabs, if you wanted to color code these, you just right click on the tab and then come up to tab color and you can choose the color that you want. It's as simple as that.